You know, it's good to be back in studio. Your boy is here in New York City. But you know I'm mindful of my status, my stature. I got Mr. CIA himself, Mr. Mike T right next to me. Of course, Mollywood is in the house. But you know what really bothers me? I didn't want to come in here with an attitude. All right, I'm under the weather. My allergies are messing with me. But I'll be all right. But I told these people, these producers for this show, that when I'm on the show from the road, that big screen belongs to fight for it. But Swagoo's in the house, and without the show even starting, all of a sudden he got the big screen, and he got a rear view with this noggin, this schnoz of a nose, this noggin in the back of my head. That's what people are seeing. I'm disgusted already. First takes in the house. We gonna change this up. Let's go.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome into First Take. I feel like we already did the intro with this man. Clearly, SA is back. Mike T, Swagoo. Good to talk to you guys. I'm Molly. Let's get this party started.
Let's do it.
Micah Parsons' trade request Friday has not swayed Cowboys owner and general manager Jerry Jones, who said he will not consider trading the star pass rusher. CeeDee Lamb went to X to give his take on Parsons' contract negotiations, and recent trade requests never fails. Just pay that man what you owe him. No need for the extracurricular. Here's Jerry's response on Micah.
I think the world of Micah, and that's just a part of negotiation. What y'all don't know is what I offered him, and it's a hell of a lot more than you think I did. That's what you don't know. But my point is, I reached. Make no mistake about it, I reached. As always, in any relationships, there are different moods at different times of your relationship. That's what it is. Don't lose any sleep over it.
So just to be
That's
clear,
the one thing I would say to our fans. Don't lose any sleep over it.
Stephen A., what price is Dallas going to have to pay for their treatment of Micah?
Hopefully they'll play a very hefty price, because I don't like what's transpiring here. And I'm not going to troll Dallas Cowboys Nation like I usually do, because I'm just playing around. The Swagoo knows that. You all know that when I'm talking about it. But on subjects like this, I get very serious about it, because I'm going to confess, I got a lot of love for Jerry Jones. I've come to know him over the years. I have an affection for this man. I know there is an inordinate amount of players, black and beyond, that used to play on the Dallas Cowboys, that still play on the Dallas Cowboys, that he has looked out for, and he has been a tremendous individual for them. But there are certain things that he does during negotiations that take so much of that away because of how he goes about doing things. You're playing with this man's future. You're playing with this man's livelihood in terms of Micah Parsons. Yes, he's under contract, but the reality is that you know what this man deserves. You had an idea about it, and you're playing these games. And why am I so disgusted with Jerry Jones about this? Because of the things that I've heard. Molly, Mike T, Swagoo, you've heard this. Do y'all know he hasn't spoken to Micah Parsons' agent? You're talking about, you're treating like the discussions that you had months ago with Micah Parsons was a negotiation. It wasn't a negotiation. Now, you know this as a former executive in the National Football League. You don't sit up there and have a discussion with a player and think that's a contract negotiation. Was anything memorialized? Was anything firmly and definitively agreed upon by the parties that be? Normally, you're sending the player away because you want to talk to their representation. You're not thinking that a conversation with a player who, by the way, is 25, 26 years of age, that this man is astute and he's an expert at negotiations. That's not Micah Parsons' level of expertise. That brother's specialty is getting at the quarterback. That's what he does, okay? His agent is the one that's supposed to be in front of Jerry Jones having these discussions. But you have a discussion with Micah Parsons, and you're trying to act like that's some agreement that he reneged on, which caused you angst, which made it so you don't really want to communicate with anybody else right now. That's incredibly insulting, and that goes bigger, y'all, than just, oh, this is a contract dispute. You are not talking to his representation. You are acting like a private conversation with you and Micah Parsons was a negotiation. You're a multi-billion-dollar successful businessman who's negotiated on the highest of levels. Jerry Jones knows better, which means that you're trying to take advantage of that young man. And I think that that is the story that is not being talked about enough when it comes to this. If you was talking about David Mulugala and the conversations with him, that would be different because that's his level of expertise. You don't talk to Micah Parsons and act like that was a negotiation.
Swagoo, obviously this is your former team, so we know this hits different. What were your thoughts?
Stephen A. brings up a great point, and it's actually a track record of this disrespect. If y'all recall when Jerry Jones said he didn't even know who David Mulugala was. Now, how in the hell do you not know who the agent of your star defensive player is? Stephen A. and I have argued that Micah is the face of the franchise when I've said that. So everybody understands the type of cachet Micah Parsons has within this organization. Then Micah, in his statement before asking for a trade, comes and to Stephen A's point talks about how Jerry thought the contract was negotiated, and Micah said, I would have accepted a contract predisposed of all of the other top players accepting the contract. And his interview just now that we played in that sound brings up another disrespectful trait. You guys don't know how much money I've offered him. Well, here's the news flash for everybody. And Mike T knows this because he's been in this room. Stephen A., you've been around this. Molly, you've covered this game enough to know this. It's more about how this is structured than the amount of money that you're going to receive. But see, Jerry throws that little tidbit out there for the fans to be like, look at this, because we try to create this narrative of the ungrateful player all the time in these situations. That is his speaking points. If you listen to how Jerry addresses this contract situation with Micah Parsons, it's all throwing it back on him. Like he's ungrateful. He's not accepting what we've offered. The relationship sometimes has ups and downs. Yeah, in a negotiation, everybody goes back and forth. Everybody is trying to get what they want out of that negotiation and walk away from the table feeling comfortable. To me, it's the disrespect. And that disrespect could carry over. Even if a contract is done or one is not done, it could carry over into the mindset of the football team, which is my issue anyway, is that I think this also impacts winning and losing.
Mike T, give me the front office perspective here.
Yeah, so Molly, there's two costs here. The tangible one is an easy one. Last year, Nick Bosa's making $34 million. TJ Watt's making $41 million, $7 million a year. We know that Philadelphia, Washington, right now are much better run front offices. They should have been proactive. However, there's a much bigger cost here. That's one of the intangible. Because if I'm a young player in the Dallas Cowboys, much the way what you talked about, Stephen A., let's just pick a name, Tyler Smith, a great young player, and he's been around this ecosystem for a while. And when Swagoo played, it was pride to be a Cowboy, national platform, and it was a place where a lot of players want to be. But when you see CeeDee Lamb, when you see Dak Prescott, and now Micah Parsons, whose play is beyond reproach, 52 sacks in 4 years, and they are just clawing and battling